Welcome to Beyond Just Talk. This is a positive, inspirational, and thought-provoking program that discusses life and business topics from a solution-oriented perspective with your host, S.L. Young.
It's another great day, and we're ready to discuss subjects that will make a difference in your day. This is the place that people connect, ideas are shared, and lives are enriched. My name is Stacey Young. My author's name is S.L. Young, but please call me Sly. My guest today is an individual who didn't prepare for this moment, but did the things that needed to be done. Helped to redirect someone's focus from desperation and despair to regain a little bit of hope. Acted with expediency to regain verbal contact, and saved my life from a near suicide in March 2014. But before I continue, if you'd like to connect with me after the show, you can reach me on my website at slyoung.com, on Facebook at facebook.com/beyondjusttalk, one word, or locate me on Twitter, Google+, Instagram, and SoundCloud using the handle SLYoungVA. Also, if you're interested in past shows, you can listen to them on Mixcloud at mixcloud.com/beyondjusttalk, one word. As for the rest of today's show, there will be a powerful conversation with someone who recognized a medical emergency, became a support line at a critical moment, and brought me back from the brink of being moments from ending my life. During our lives, we imagine our futures, happy moments, and envision goals that we want to achieve. We learn basic skills to become self-sufficient. We learn methods to get along with others. We learn strategies to take care of our physical bodies. However, we don't always really learn ways to maintain or protect our mental, emotional, or spiritual health. Through learned behavior, if someone is physically hurt, we ask if they're okay, ask about the way the incident happened, and engage in meaningful acts of caring. However, if someone is hurt emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, there isn't always the same amount of compassion, understanding, or support provided to aid in the healing process. Moreover, if someone indicates that there might be something wrong inside their head, then there are often judgments about their stability, state of mind, or are unfortunately reduced to name-calling, such as someone being crazy, psycho, mentally unfit, or other negative descriptors. None of these terms or references do anything to help someone to get better and can cause more trauma due to senseless and needless attacks. It's this lack of understanding, compassion, support, and caring that causes countless individuals to hide their pain due to fears of being called names, abandoned, isolated, teased, attacked, and worse, suffering alone in silence. Robin Williams, who died by suicide in August 2014, said, "I used to think that the worst thing in life was to end up alone. It's not. The worst thing in life is to end up with people who make you feel alone." These feelings of loneliness can escalate the pain and suffering because of someone's misguided beliefs that they're alone, which isn't true, as there's always someone, somewhere, who is ready and willing to help. The challenge is mustering the strength to share the pain versus becoming a master of illusion by masquerading a display of happiness as if the affected party was a performer on a stage. Stereotypes, stigmas, judgments, name-calling, unrealistic fears, misunderstandings, and much more unnecessarily cause individuals to enter the depths of despair that leave them searching for ways to make the pain end and to have inner peace. Unfortunately, for too many, this choice leads to depression and sometimes death. These are part of the reasons that individuals must learn positive ways to express their heartaches, pains, internal turmoil, and other factors without a desire to hurt themselves. No one with a bona fide medical condition should be made to feel embarrassed, ashamed, judged, or alone. During personal crises, these are the moments that anyone who cares and loves someone should rally to provide support, love, guidance, and compassion. Each of these meaningful actions can help individuals to transform feelings of isolation and darkness to being supported, validated, and loved. For the rest of this show, a very special woman will help to share the love between two brothers that help save a life. If one of the brothers wasn't determined to regain a telephone connection, then there would have been another needless loss of a life due to death by suicide. Fortunately, this story has a happy ending. If you'd like to learn about ways to help someone who might be feeling down or sad, then please read my article, Helping Someone Who Might Be Depressed. This piece can be accessed on my website at slyoung.com/helping-someone-depressed.html. Now, I'll introduce the woman who I've entrusted to help share my and my brother's story about the day in March 2014 that he saved my life. My guest host today is an interesting woman who hosts the program Choose to Be Curious, which is also on the station WERA 96.7 FM in Arlington, Virginia. Her show is well received throughout this community and beyond. She brings a curiosity perspective to facilitate conversations that are enlightening, engaging, and entertaining. In 2017, she helped me to deliver a powerful conversation about the impact of unethical workplace bullies and their ability to have a lasting emotional and psychological effect on someone's life, career, and desire to live. In the years that I've hosted my radio show, there has only been one guest host, and this woman will facilitate our conversations again today to begin genuine curiosity to the actions, communications, and love it takes to save a life. Now, without further ado, I welcome a woman who is respected for her compassionate storytelling, a wonderful person to know, and an inspiration for those who want to push themselves out of their comfort zones to achieve a new level of success. Lynn Borton, my special guest host, welcome back to Beyond Just Talk.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Sly. Thank you so much. It's really quite a privilege to be here with you and Johnnie to kind of shepherd this conversation along. So thank you for that opportunity. And Johnnie, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, you're welcome. My pleasure to participate.
So part of the reason this feels like a very appropriate role right now is that the Latin root for curiosity is cura, to care. And so asking questions out of caring is, I think, the most beautiful way that curiosity takes form. And it sounds to me, Johnnie, based on what Sly has described of your experience, that you were asking questions out of care.
Yes, as a matter of fact, that is the case, or that was the case.
Yeah.
One little side note here, I already got educated on something right from the get-go about the curiosity root.
Oh,
So,
there you go.
thank you for that.
Well, thank you. So tell us the story of what happened. You got a phone call one day. What happened?
Well, let's see, one morning my phone rang, and it was my brother Stacy on the other end. And right away, I detected that there was something wrong. And when I was able to actually ascertain what was going on, then my heart started pounding, my thoughts started racing. But then I told myself that I needed to be calm in order to be able to help him.
Yeah. So how did you do that?
Well, I started listening, because before I could help him, I really needed to understand what it was, what was happening, what he was saying, what he was going through, to try and get as much information from what he was saying on the phone as I could, so I could then use that information to try, to help him resolve this issue or to get through this crisis. So I just listened intensely to what he was saying. And after that, then I switched into the help mode to try and hit upon the right vein of just thought process in order to be able to draw him in, to get his attention, and to move him beyond where he was at that point in time with his thoughts and his feelings.
So it sounds like you did a couple of things, right? I mean, the first thing you did was listen. Well, maybe the first thing you did was that you were there. You picked up the phone. So he wasn't, to go back to what he said, so he wasn't entirely alone because he knew there was somebody that would respond. So that was the first thing, I guess. And then you listened, and then you were looking for ways to to kind of help, to kind of steward. I know one of the things that Sly's told me that you said was, this is just a moment. You have to get past this moment. Where did that come from? That's a remarkable insight.
It's just a philosophy that I've had, just insight that I've had for a long time in looking at life and experiencing life, just my perspective on life, going through different things and whatnot, is that life is made up of moments.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get caught up in a particular moment, and that moment seems to be all that there is, but is not, because there's more moments that come after that. But you have to shift your attention away from the current moment in order to focus on those future moments. And those future moments may be totally different, 180 degrees from the moment that you're experiencing right now. But you have to allow yourself to get there, okay? Just believing that and understanding that, it wasn't easy to verbalize that to him because I really believe that. So when I got the gist of what his situation was, he was going through something that he felt there was no solution to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that, was overwhelming for him at that time. In his current mental state at that time, he could see no way out. So I then felt that I needed to move his attention away from the current dilemma that he was in and just allow him to see that just like you have bad moments, you also have good moments, like a roller coaster, where you hit a high and then there's lows and then there's highs again. And you really can't get stuck on either one of those points because, the other one is coming.
Right. It is kind of a cycle. So were there things that you found that worked particularly well? I mean, what helped you help him find those things to hang on to?
Well, like I said, it was speaking from the heart, speaking from my own personal belief.
Yeah.
I don't know if that made it sound more convincing, but that it was just natural for me to say that because, like I said, I believe that to be true. And I was listening as I was talking because I wanted to gauge the reaction of my words, upon his psyche. If it was having an impact, okay, I couldn't really tell if that was having the impact that I wanted, if it was succeeding in getting him to shift his attention out of his current mode, of the focus on the current moment, in the current crisis.
Yeah. Because
he was still just talking in the same vein as far as that, I just want to get everything together. I'm just I want you to be able to take care of Ma and all this. And he was still on that vein. So I had to think of something else.
Right.
Okay. Because my brain was scrambling because I knew this was serious and that my brother's life at this moment was kind of in my hands, that the next few words that I said could either save him or lose him.
Mm.
So I was really scrambling for the right words and the right concept.
Mm-hmm.
So then I thought about his writings, the speeches that he gave, his philosophy that he was telling to others about self-help, self-empowerment, about being able to handle situations, and use your personal resources and inner resources to help yourself. So what I said to him was that you need to use your own advice here in this situation to help yourself.
Yeah.
In other words, physician, heal thyself.
Well, and to remember that he had these strengths, right? He had all this wisdom. He had all these insights, and to tap into those. So good for you for helping him bring those forward.
And I think at that point, when I said that, that is what really had an effect.
Yeah.
Because he knew his philosophy and what he was preaching to others or telling others that they should do. So that impacted him because he knew it was true.
He knew it was true. Yeah.
I felt that it made an impact. When I said that, I could tell that there was something that stirred in him when I said that.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, I want to talk about sort of what came after that. So hold on.
Okay.
Welcome back. You're listening to Beyond Just Talk. I'm Lynn Borton, guest hosting today in a really powerful conversation with Sly's brother, Johnnie, who played I guess, really the pivotal role in a really important time in Sly's life. And Johnnie, during the break, I was thinking about all the steps that kind of were here. First, there was you. Sly knew you were there, so he didn't feel alone. He had somebody he could call. That was important. You picked up the phone. That was important. You listened. That was important. And then you were just constantly calibrating. You were thinking about, what am I saying? How is this landing? How do I meet him where he is? This isn't about me. This is about him. How do I find him where he is? And how do I bring him back to himself, right? I mean, you talked about reminding him of his own insights, his own strength, his own wisdom, and kind of reconnecting him with that. So that was really powerful. And I guess I'm wondering sort of, then what?
Well, at that point, I mean, we were getting off the phone. He had, gotten off the phone. And I didn't feel secure that he was going to be good. I still felt that he was at risk.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed to call in a reinforcement, okay? And so I called my sister, Joyce, or our sister.
Mm-hmm.
And I got on the phone, and then I explained to her what was going on, that I received a call from Stacy, and that Stacy was about to take his life, that this is very serious, and that she needs to reach out and help him.
Mm-hmm.
I explained, I told her that she needs to contact him, call him right now.
Mm-hmm.
And what she was able to do, because I mean, on my end, what I could do for him, okay, was to maybe like shift his focus toward the moment of, what he was going through, to the future moments where there would be hope, and you have another opportunity, and also to pull upon his own inner strength, like you said, his own resources to try and help himself, getting him thinking in that vein.
Mm-hmm.
What Joyce could do was to also help him in the actual situation that he was in.
Oh, because she was closer by?
Because she was closer by, and that she could also, once she found out, some of the details, she may have been in a position to actually, assist him in what he thought was hopeless. She was in a better position to act on his immediate cause of his crisis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So she called him as well.
So she called him right away.
Yeah.
And that was the other factor in determining the outcome and making it a positive outcome.
Yeah. So you didn't leave it alone. You called in reinforcements. You called back, right?
Yeah, and eventually, we had contact again, because I wanted to make sure, of course, that he was all right. I also talked to Joyce again. I called her to find out what the results of her conversation with him was, and what her insight, if she felt that she was able to help him, of how he was talking. I just wanted to make sure that he was going to be all right, that things were working, So I touched base with her, and she explained to me what they had talked about,
right?
What she was able to do to assist, and that she felt the moment of crisis was past.
Wow. So he didn't even know he had activated a whole network of support, that there was it wasn't just a safety line, it was a safety net.
Yeah, as if you love somebody, this is a family member. This is our brother, and we didn't want to lose him. And so obviously, it's just a natural. You naturally you do what you can. You just do what's necessary. You do what you can.
Yeah. Do you think that this experience has changed your relationship in any way?
Yeah. That's been, it is a moment that it's one of those moments, obviously, that it's an important moment in life when you have a loved one who's on the brink of committing suicide, and and you're in the dynamics of what happened. I mean, it stays with you, of course, forever, because that's a powerful moment that you experience, with them. So you never forget that. It becomes an important point or experience in your life, and you can take a lot from that, because it shows you that how quickly you could lose someone for different reasons, that you really never know what someone is going through. They may talk a certain way, they may come across as a certain way, but you really don't know what someone may be going through in their life. So it's just gives important lessons about people in general, and lives in general.
Yeah. So do you have advice for others who might find themselves in a similar situation?
Well, I mean, not that I'm an expert in this or anything.
Well, I think you have relevant experience anyway. You have an expertise from that.
Oh, you broke up a little bit. I didn't hear that last part.
I'm sorry. I said that you have expertise from your experience.
Well, I mean, based upon the experience that I had, I can just advise people to do what, in this case for me, was a natural reaction, which was, first, you have to be calm in order to help them. You can't get all hyped, and all excited, and, it doesn't do any good. So you have to calm yourself down, and you have to listen to what they're saying in order to understand the source of the crisis.
Yeah.
And at that point, you can devise strategies to try and get through, to be able to get inside of their mental state at that time, to try and alter it in a positive way. So in order to do that, though, you have to listen, you have to talk, you have to listen while you're talking to gauge if what you're saying is having an effect, and shift the strategies as necessary.
Yeah.
In order to save a life.
Yeah, nice.
And that's pretty much it.
That's great. That's great advice. So, one of the things that Sly talks a lot about on his show is gratitude. And there's a lot of really interesting research about what a tremendous contributor to people's sense of well-being gratitude is. And I know he feels tremendous gratitude to you in this case. And I wonder if you could speak to that and sort of how gratitude comes up for you in this.
How gratitude affects me in this situation, or as an outcome of the situation. Well, I'm grateful that my brother is still here, alive and kicking today, and hosting a radio show. I'm grateful that there was a bonding that took place as a result of the situation, that the crisis that we went through together. As a matter of fact, including my sister, because just as a matter of fact, me and my sister haven't had the closest of relationships, but in this moment of crisis, we came together and acted out of mutual care and concern for our brother, and it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to have had that experience with her, where I know that in a moment of crisis, things can be set aside and you can move to act in the benefit of loved ones. So so I'm grateful in those ways, to take that out of this experience, or that experience.
Oh, wow, lot to be grateful for, and I'm grateful to you for sharing the story, and to Sly for entrusting me with this opportunity. And we're going to take a break because I need to breathe. I don't know about everybody else. And we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Welcome back to Beyond Just Talk. I'm your guest host, Lynn Borton. And through all of my conversation with Johnnie, Sly has been sitting here listening. And Sly, how's that feel? How's it land?
Well, it's one of those interesting moments when you're participating in something, but you're having an out-of-body experience. I never could have imagined that here it is 4+ years later, almost 4.5 years later. And when he first started talking, it brought me back to that day as if it was yesterday, or even as if it was this moment. And it's important to share this because a lot of folks say, get on with your life and get over it. I've had an amazing life since I almost ended my life. But these moments are impactful, not just for me throughout all of my life, but as we've heard, for others who are affected, it has an impact on them and the rest of their lives also. But even with the heartache of what happened when I almost ended my life, the heartache of having the conversations with my siblings, and the heartache of the journey back to figure out how I wanted to live the rest of my life, I'm still grateful. Because sometimes we don't know that our family loves us. We might feel it. We might hear it. But when someone that loves you fights for your life, it's beyond words. And I'm thankful and grateful for the love of my brother and my sister, because they mean the world to me.
Yeah.
Well, you're getting me emotional over here.
I know.
And that's rare in my family. Folks don't get emotional like this. I don't know if there's any more air in the room.
So Sly, Johnnie had what I thought were amazing lessons, takeaways, advice for people. What's your advice to people? Both for people who maybe find themselves in your position, but also, kind of for people who find themselves in Johnnie's position.
Well, it might sound interesting, but the easiest part to answer is from someone else's perspective. The best advice that I can give is to listen, don't judge, and just be open at that moment. Because as my brother said, the words that you use, the way that you say it, and how you respond could negatively impact a life, and you might not ever have that moment again.
So that's a huge amount of pressure, right? I mean, how do how do people know what to say?
Well, when you don't know what to say, just listen.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Just listen.
That's right.
And remind them that they're loved. Listening and loving. Powerful things.
Yeah. It's what you did, isn't it, Johnnie?
Well, but also to try and give hope where there's hopelessness, because, one of the things that when someone's ready to end their life is that they, at that moment, feel that there is no hope, that there's no hope of a solution, that there's no hope of a better day, that moment is all there is and will ever be. So the important thing is to try and get one to understand that there's always hope, and there's always another moment that you will have to reverse whatever it is that you're going through in the current moment. But you can't get there if you don't get out that current moment. You got to get out that current moment that you're in, and you need to shift your attention out of that to understand that before that moment that you're having a crisis, you had good times, there was good moments, there were bad moments, and then you're in this now, that's the crisis. But beyond this crisis, There's going to be good moments and bad moments. So you have to isolate the moment that you're in. It's just a moment in time. It's just a moment in time that you're going through. And you will never get to experience those other moments of hope and joy. There's going to be ups and downs, but you'll never get there if you don't get out of the current moment. And you have to shift your consciousness to realize that. And that's an important thing.
Yeah. So, Sly, how did you get back to hope?
Well, before I say that, I think it's important to say that I didn't want to die. I just wanted the pain to go away. And I
think
didn't
that's
see
such
any
an
way.
important. I think that's thank you for saying that, because I think that's such an important thing for people to hear, because I think people have a misunderstanding about what that moment feels like. And there's a profound difference between wanting to die and just not knowing how to live.
Absolutely. And to answer your other question, my advice to others that might be in a similar situation that I was in and are thinking about ending their lives is don't allow stigmas, shame, and judgments from individuals who don't even know you or necessarily care about you to prevent you from getting help. Mental health is part of the body's health. We talk about our physical health. We need to be able to talk about our mental health because they're all part of the body. And if you are in any type of pain, seek assistance, seek support, seek guidance, but don't suffer alone. You don't need to suffer alone. And so if I was to go back in time and to go through this whole thing again that led to the point that I wanted to end my life because I didn't plan it, it was inside of me that day when I woke up. And that's another important thing for folks to understand is sometimes your mind breaks, just like your body can break, a bone can break, your mind can break. And I had lost my desire to fight anymore because I had fought so much. I tried to be a good person, and continuously bad things continue to happen to me. But if I had to go back in time and do it again, when everything started to fall apart, now knowing that, and I knew it all along, but now hearing it even more and knowing it now that I'm loved, I would have called my family. There's no shame in letting them know I was struggling. I didn't need to do it alone. And pride and ego aren't going to save my life, but love will.
Well, powerful statement.
Yeah, you guys have said some amazing things today. So Johnnie, Sly, thank you for the privilege of this conversation.
Johnnie, thank you very much.
Well, it's been my pleasure to participate in this important subject matter, and hopefully there'll be benefit that others can take out of it who hear it. And if that is the case, then it's something that is definitely appreciated on my part to be able to have played a part in that.
And Johnnie, I know in our family we don't verbally express our emotions, even though that we know that we care. But I just want you to know today, just in case I never have an opportunity to say it again, that I love you. And
well,
thank you.
Hey.
Saving my life.
Well, listen, you're right. Our family don't express these emotions hardly never. Love you too, man. And be strong. I'm glad you're still among us. And go on to do great and beneficial things for others.
Wow.
Thank you again for being part of this conversation and my journey. I don't know of a better person to be able to facilitate this conversation.
Thank you, Sly.
This was a great conversation about the importance of caring and compassion during our busy lives, to not miss the small things that could have a devastating effect on someone or their life. It doesn't always take a lot of time, effort, or energy to help someone to feel better. Sometimes it only requires someone to spend time, listen, and demonstrate compassion. Pride, ego, shame, stigmas, judgments, and other considerations prevent too many individuals from sharing information that could lead to them obtaining assistance to improve their mental state or to save a life. These negative actions and reactions must stop. After listening to the show, I hope that you will begin to start asking those in your life a simple question. Are you okay? And then listen. This single question and moment could save a life. As my brother Johnnie did on the day I almost ended my life in March 2014, ask questions, listen, be supportive, and don't judge. To my brother Johnnie, thank you very much for caring enough, loving me enough, supporting me enough, and being there enough to help me regain perspective and begin to rebuild my life to purposely live. And these words apply to my sister Joyce as well. It's because you didn't hesitate in a critical moment that I chose to live, fight for my life, and learn to live a meaningful life that not only helps myself, but others too, in ways I couldn't have otherwise imagined. If you would like to learn more about my work to remove stigmas related to depression and my journey to recover, please visit my dedicated link on my website at slyoung.com/depression. If you or someone you know needs assistance, please contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK or 1-800-273-8255, or contact the crisis text line by texting TALK, T-A-L-K, to 741-741. Lynn Borton, again, thank you very much for helping to share an important story and journey to help save a life, which happens to be mine. All right, folks, I hope that you enjoyed today's show. Remember that your candle is fueled from within, so don't let anyone reduce or block the fuel to maximize its brightness. Enjoy the rest of your week. Until next time, my friends, have a good one.